Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are making the most delicious cinnamon swirl bread, and it's easier than you think. I'm going to start by blooming the yeast. I have a warm cup of milk, some active dry yeast, a little bit of sugar to feed it. Stir it and let it sit to bloom. That should take about 10 minutes. Now into the bowl of a stand mixer, I'm going to add my flour, salt, and sugar. If you choose not to use a scale, use the spoon and level method when measuring your flour. It's the most accurate measurement. Give that all a good mix, and now that the yeast has bloomed, I'm just going to pour it directly into the flour along with 2 room temperature eggs. I'm also adding a little bit of warm water. Using the dough hook on your mixer, you want to start mixing slowly until the dough starts to come together, then speed it up to about a medium speed. Once the dough starts to look like it's coming together and all the flour is incorporated, then you're going to be slowly adding room temperature butter. You want to add the butter slowly, 1 tablespoon at a time, and make sure that it's really incorporated into the dough before you add the next tablespoon. Once all the butter is absorbed by the dough, you're going to let that mix for about 5 minutes on a medium speed. You'll know it's ready when you see no more butter and the dough looks nice and smooth, just like this. Oil your bowl, add the dough back in, coat it so that it doesn't form a skin, and then you're going to cover it and let it rise for 1 to 2 hours in a warm place. While that's rising, I'm going to make a simple cinnamon sugar. It's just granulated sugar and cinnamon, and give it a mix. Set that aside until you're ready to use it. Once doubled in size, you're going to punch it down, that's so satisfying, and just form a ball and cut this dough into 2 equal pieces. I like to use my scale to make sure I get 2 equal sized pieces, but you could just eyeball it here. Once you've got your 2 equal sized pieces, you're going to start rolling them out to a 9 by 16 approximately rectangle. I start by pressing it down with my hands, and then I use a rolling pin. And notice I have not floured the surface. I don't want this to move around. I want it to stick to the surface so that it's easier to roll out. Once I have it to the size that I want, I'm going to brush that with milk. And the reason why I do that is because you want to wet the dough before adding the cinnamon sugar, because the cinnamon sugar is really dry and you want it to be able to stick to the dough. So you use half this mixture on one loaf and half of the mixture on the other loaf. And once you've sprinkled the whole dough, you want to take your hands, spread it out, and sort of press it down. This will ensure that the sugar doesn't go flying everywhere when you roll it and when you lift it to place it into the pan. Now it's time to roll it. Starting at the short end, you want to start rolling and just make sure you have a nice tight roll. You want to roll it tightly because you don't want big gaps in the spiral when it goes to bake. This is almost the same way you would make a cinnamon roll. I have a 5x9 loaf pan that I've greased with butter. And now I'm going to place it seam side down, but before you do that, you want to tuck the ends in and place it into the loaf pan, and it's going to rise 1 more time. Cover the bread and place it in a warm place to rise until it's just about 1 inch above the rim. Here are my 2 loaves. They've risen beautifully, and now it's time to put them in the oven. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're not going to brush them with anything. You're just going to place them in the oven and bake them for 30 minutes. When they come out, you brush them with melted butter. I've been making these loaves for years, and they are absolutely delicious. It's a family favorite for toast or even for French toast. There is nothing like homemade bread, and it makes your house smell amazing. So let's cut this open and see what we've got inside. And that is the beauty of a really tight roll. Look at that spiral. It's so beautiful. This bread is so delicious. You have to make it. Don't be intimidated by homemade bread. If I can do it, you can do it too. Just follow this video and I'm sure you'll be successful. All of the instructions and ingredients will be in the caption along with the link to my website. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can see what I'm going to make next. I hope you enjoyed watching my cinnamon swirl bread recipe, and I'll see you on the next delicious video. Ciao, my friends.